A word of advice to your audience that I wish I'd been told or that I'd realized earlier on myself. So to anybody of you who may be starting in crypto, or maybe you're at a point where you're thinking about, like, you've been thinking about this for years. Every time you heard about coming up, but you haven't really done anything in it. What you really need to think through here is, if this doesn't pan out, if Nils and I are completely wrong, you stand to lose whatever money you're putting inside of it. Worst case scenario, you put in $10,000, you lose all $10,000, all that's gone. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you have, virtually speaking, infinite upside. That you really need to think about that. So what you need to take away from that is not that you need to go act on this right now. The point to take away from that is, you need to educate yourself on this, because on the off chance that this thing does work out, that this is the future, you want to find out yesterday. You want to find out as soon as possible, because if it does work out in any remote area of that direction, the upside is, as investors would call it, is extremely asynchronous. So there is probably nothing, absolutely nothing else you could be spending your time on that is more important than educating yourself on this. There's probably nothing else that has a bigger potential impact on your life, your family's possibilities, than educating yourself on this right now. Because if it is going in that direction, then it is completely, utterly life-changing still. Even though you might think, oh, I'm late to the party. Again, zoom out, look at all the numbers, world economies, compare everything in total. Bitcoin's total market cap now is $1.2 trillion, give or take, like depending on what time it is right now at the day. But
which is not that much.
No, it's not that much. It's like a sixth of what the US printed on top of what they already print in the span of like 6 months in 2020. It's nothing. It's like a fart in the wind. So on a global economic scale. So yeah, if you've been thinking about crypto, as I know I had for many years before I pulled myself together and acted on that, stopped being lazy. What I wish somebody would have shaken me and made me face and realize is that if it goes in that direction, there's nothing else you're doing that's more important. Whatever project you're working on, whatever side hustle thing is, like, etc. Why are you doing that thing? What are you hoping to get from that? All right, compare that to the potential upside of this other thing.
Yeah.
And then rearrange your priorities.
Yeah, that is what you're realizing more and more as you go into it. And that's why I think a lot of, like myself included and you as well, the more you start going into it, the more you start moving like more and more of your time and energy and money over into this space, because the risk reward scenario is just so insane. You know, I think it's like, if the thesis is right, which I think it is, but people need to research it for themselves, that something like just Bitcoin, for example, not to make it too complicated, is going to hit a market cap that is comparable to other asset classes, like stocks and bonds and stuff like that, right? That means, and people say like within the next 5 to 10 years, that might happen. What that means is, if you take something like 100,000 Danish kroners, which is this is like $20,000 or something, put it in now, then in 5 to 10 years, you can retire. That is the reality of the upside, if that thesis is true. And the downside, like you said, is you're going to lose those $20,000.
Yeah.
And that's fucking insane.
Yeah, because $20 is a lot of money to most people.
Yeah.
But in the scope of at the same time, it's not that much money in the sense that it is a lot of money, but that's an amount of money that you can still save and you can earn back, and you can get to that number within a matter of some years, depending on your job, your stations, and opportunity. Let's just say half a decade or something like that. And as you put it, like, if it does go in that direction, then that might be all you ever needed to do to get set for the rest of your life. And that's not even looking into things like DeFi, where you'll be able to like lend out your Bitcoin completely securely, and then you also earn interest on this thing that keeps growing in value. So
exactly.